The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, September 1st. Happy September. It's another month down. And by the way, walking into the building this morning, first thought I had, it's a new month. I got 8 months under my tenure here with the KQ Morning Show. And I thought back to the first 2 weeks I was on the air and I didn't have access to the building. Remember that? I used to text you guys, can someone let me in, please? It's January. It's pitch black. It would be 9 degrees below zero, and I'd literally pull up and have to just I'm here, and then I would wait. And sometimes it would literally be 9 minutes before I'd see someone coming through the lobby. I'd be like, this is great. I can't wait till they trust me to give me access to the building. Anyway, that's all in the past. Now I got a fob. I feel like a champ. Whew, baby. It is Friday. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled that it's Labor Day weekend. That's a long weekend for us. I imagine we all have things we plan to do this weekend. For the first time, my wife and I, and Chauncey Gorman, beloved Pooch that we all know and love, we'll be going to the North Shore for the first time.
Nice. You're going to love it.
Yeah, baby.
Man. Yeah, you'll love it.
Born in Muskegon on Lake Michigan, so I've always had a thing where I'm like, Superior. I'm a Lake Michigan guy. I can't wait. Never stood and calmly, slowly, and deliberately taken in the lake they call Gitchagumi. I can't wait.
Very pretty.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. It's awesome.
Zepp, anything going on this weekend, bro?
Hanging out with some fam. I have my brother and sister and their spouses are in town, and we're just, hanging out, doing the things that you do on Labor Day weekend. It's, shots and
sure
and family fights. No, it's the siblings, so it should be fairly mellow.
That'll be nice. Tony, what do you got? What's the Lee family got for the weekend?
Yeah, same. Can hang with family.
Sure.
A lot of soccer.
Really?
A lot of outdoor fare.
Candace, what's the weekend hold?
Oh, gosh.
Come on.
Lots of stuff.
Spill it.
I got some of my Richfield friends in town from high school.
Spartans!
Is this the
I
Richfield
feel like
7? Is this the documentary about the Richfield 7?
There are 7 of us girls, yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of malfeasance and correct me if I'm wrong, allegations, indictments, but no convictions.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to have like a classic Richfield party.
There's a party the weekend I leave town. You're having a party? Is that what you just said?
And,
great,
yeah,
thanks.
It's going to be wild. And
man.
yeah, it's gonna be
Sounds
tight.
wild. Is your mom sleeping next to you? Yeah, because,
Candace, if you want that, Candace,
morning.
if you what was that? I'm sorry.
My ears are just vibrating pleasantly.
As are mine. God, that timbre was just like a foot rub.
I took my
beautiful,
vitamins this morning on an empty stomach, and I just feel like I'm going to throw up.
Yeah. I can speak from experience. If you okay, Candace, turn your mic off when you have to pass gas. If you want to chase that with a belt of bourbon, it's going to help you.
Yeah.
All right, you
Yeah.
got some?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on, I'm
Let's
from
go.
Kentucky. I never go anywhere without bourbon.
Always
What
got
do
a
you
flask.
think's in that bag?
Listen, Candace, here's something you might want to think about doing. If you want your party to really take it up to the next level, invite TJ Hawkinson because he'll pick up the tab.
Okay.
The Minnesota Vikings have agreed to a 4-year extension for just under $70 million. Nice job there catching and blocking TJ Hawkinson.
Hey, maybe you can afford a haircut now. I mean, some people make it look good. He does not.
Now that's the boy with that long hair, yeah?
Yeah.
He's got that mullet.
Big
He's
time.
almost pretty. It weirds me out how I feel when I look at him. I want to kiss him.
Are you more turned on when he's catching balls or blocking? Which is it?
Yeah, I think down there blocking, getting low.
Yeah. It's kind of
driving those hips.
Let me be the second member of this team to say TJ's kind of hot. You and me, Zepp, we found common ground.
Thank God he's got the mustache,
What are you kidding? It's fantastic. Labor Day is Monday, as everybody knows. And Labor Day is one of those things that is, it comes around every year. We all have a good weekend. It marks the end of summer. It marks the beginning of football. It marks all kinds of things. It's also a yearly reminder of American exceptionalism. Americans do things their own way because, the rest of the world on May 1st has a little something called International Workers Father's Day. The United States, no, we do it our way. We already have Memorial Day in May, so we got to bookend the summer. We do Labor Day for us and us alone. And it's just one of those things Americans do that the rest of the world looks at us and goes, I mean, okay, but, you could just do it like we do. And we're like, no, we got our own Labor Day plans. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Not unlike the way, and there's a whole lot of things Americans do that you don't think about until you leave, and then you recognize, wow, there's no one else that does this. And we all know the top of the list. We say, how are you, instead of simply saying hello. No one else does that. That's not like go to Germany and say, how are you, and then sit down because the person's going to tell you for real how they are.
Yeah, we don't expect an answer to that.
No. Hey, man, I mean, what's up? How you doing? I can't help myself but say it. And if anybody literally answers with more than 4 words, I'm like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to break stride.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I got to hear about your gout? What the hell's happening here? I'm telling you, man, you go to Europe and you're like, hey, how are you? They give you a quick baffled look and they're like, well, I mean, I could be better, I guess, but I've had, there was the situation where I stubbed my toe and I had to put on my lederhosen. And why do you ask me, American tourist? But we all do it. We cannot help but do it. And the other thing we do, and this is specifically in Germany more than anywhere else, because I haven't been to Germany since like 2001, but in the 90s I was there a lot. The whole thing where you just laugh as you're talking, like at the grocery store, they do not laugh unless something is actually funny. And I just feel like the biggest dork because I can't help, like they just stare at you like, will this be all you're having today? And I'm like, yeah, I think that's it. And then you can see on their face, they're like, why are you laughing? There's no reason for mirth.
Right.
We're not here for merriment. This is a simple business transaction. You wanted the biscuits and the wafers, and you're giving me money, and I'm giving you a receipt and a bag. Why are we laughing about it?
Off you go.
Americans love there's no awkward silences, man. Better smile and laugh at strangers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why do we do that?
Right.
Because we're friendly by nature.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Americans are. I'm not. But I mean, people, nervousness, I suppose. Europeans always seem like dorks when they're here, and I suppose we seem like dorks when we're there.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's really true. You know what I've enjoyed, and this is something I associated with being in other countries, but here in Minnesota it happens. And honestly, it's wonderful, is I never get carded because I'm obviously over 21.
Okay, yeah.
But go south, young man. Go to the United States in the Southeast. You card everybody. Everybody. If you go to an Atlanta Braves Major League Baseball game, anybody on this show, sit in your stand, the guy comes up, cold beer, and you say, I'll have one. You have to pass your license down the aisle to the guy.
Jeez.
Doesn't matter. I have watched white-haired, white-bearded octogenarians dig their driver's license out and pass it down.
Oh, and someone in the row is going to drop it, too.
Of course they are. Everybody gets carded down south. Everybody. And it's just the most mind-numbingly stupid thing ever. But here in Minnesota, I guess I obviously look over 21 because nobody's ever said, can I see your license? And I just want to say thank you to all of the alcohol vendors of the Twin Cities that I have dealt with so far.
And sometimes I'll even get the eye roll, if I'm with my daughters and I pull my license out, they look at me like, dude, old gray man, keep walking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That sort of thing. But I saw... This was in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, no less, and this was last summer with a friend who did not have his license, and he's grayer than I am. He's like 80% gray, and they would not let him in. We all had to leave. I'm like, dude, seriously? I know what the law is, but you don't have to. You have to do that, but... So they do or do not in Europe? They'll just let you slide through if you're obviously over 21. If you're the drinking age, what is it there, 11?
Well, it depends on the country, but generally speaking, if you're not wearing a diaper, they're cool with you just having a glass of wine. It's pretty great, actually.
Right, yeah.
There's just those things. You're just like you said, Zepp, like we look like dorks, they look like dorks here.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long I walk around. And the times I've been to Europe, it's like I have painted on my forehead "American coming" because it's just my body language. It's the way I carry myself, which I'm not even aware of course. I'm not walking around like I'm in a Western.
Right.
I have the pommes frites. before sundown, and then I will shoot you. I'm not like that guy, but I can't help it. It's just so obvious. I'm like walking in, they're like, oh, there's another one. And I like, what could I do? How could I? Is it the cut of my pant? What's happening here? How am I so obviously not from this land?
Here's what I wonder about, and I wonder if this is just exclusively American. It's the American woo. Whether your kid scores a goal, whether you do a shot, or you're at a party, everyone does the woo.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so tired of it. And is that universal? Is that just American?
But being tired of the woo means you've just had exceptionally fun times repeatedly over.
Yes.
You're constantly eliciting woos from your friends, and it wears you out. That's a good sign for you.
I think so. I mean, you have a high bar for the woo. If you're going to get a woo out of Tony Lee, you better bring it. It better be something woo-worthy. Not just, hey, it's Friday. Woo! It's Friday once a week. Come on, relax, everybody.
There was a guy in this tavern last night. I gave him some Jägermeister, and he said, woo, and we all realized he's American. They love their woos.
I know we have to get along to Mike Evans, and we will here in just a moment, but we're going to actually take one of my rare trips over to Europe here in October. Maria goes all the time. She's always jetting over there, and she said one of the things to watch out that you might like there is Europeans are weirded out by the huge gaps we have in our toilets. You know, you can kind of see when somebody's going by or someone steps
in the
in
stall.
front of
The
your door.
stall door.
In the stall? Yeah, apparently they're all tight over there in Europe. There's no looking or peeking in or
They've
or
got
looking
that,
around.
that strip that you have on your car door, the weather stripping. Whatever it takes, they keep you sealed in nice.
Sealed in there.
Hermetically sealed, I believe is what that's called.
Hey, how about a new movie Friday with Mike Evans here at 6:30? Hang tight.
What?
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday, September the 1st. Hey, you know what Friday is? It's Movie Review Day with the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Steve. Good morning, everybody. I can't tell you. I mean, the Minnesota Twins, 5 games up. The Gophers beat Nebraska last night. I mean, you guys got to be pretty happy this morning.
Couldn't sleep.
Unbelievable. And they look good, too. I mean, they made a few mistakes, but first game out of the chute, it's going to be an exciting college football season. I can't wait.
Yeah, the Cornhuskers had to walk home after dropping that one last night around the corner.
Movie Review Friday, you're absolutely right. And first of all, movie review, this report brought to you by our friends over at Marcus Theaters. Don't forget, come Tuesday, the day after the holiday, the Marcus Theater Value Tuesday, $6 for any movie. And please don't forget that they have fabulous restaurants. They're called the Take 5 Lounges at the theaters where you can go and have a little dinner, then go see a movie. Marcus Theater are the best. All right, movie review, and it's the end of Equalizer, the franchise. And Equalizer 3, Steve, is the best one.
Really?
I really liked it.
Wow.
Denzel, although he says he likes to be called Denzel, I don't know. Denzel Washington has never been better. It's a calculated, planned, subtle revenge. Big surprises, mixing old school with new twists, good versus evil. I think you're going to love it. Oh, by the way, the film was shot in Italy, and Italy's never looked better. Great cinematography. And Denzel Washington is one bad arse in this movie. Dakota Fanning, his co-star, also fabulous. Rated R, under 2 hours. 3.5 stars.
Dakota Fanning. That's like a Man on Fire reunion.
How about that? It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Good job. Do you like Denzel Washington?
Who doesn't like Denzel Washington? Anybody that sets a little stopwatch and thing on his watch and says, "I'm going to kill everyone in the room in 9 seconds," that guy gets my vote every time.
And he does that, by the way. Yeah. Well, I love Denzel. He's one of my favorite actors, so I thought I'd give you a couple of little trivia on Denzel Washington. He was named Denzel after the doctor who delivered him. He went to a military high school. He attended Fordham University in New York and received a journalism degree.
Wow.
While attending a Fordham University alumni function, he met another Fordham graduate. They became best friends. Former Los Angeles Dodger announcer Vin Scully.
Come on.
I don't make this stuff up.
I love it.
And he says his best friend is Julia Roberts.
Yeah, why not? You know, Pelican Brief, it's been a while, but they obviously clicked. That's good to know.
Yeah. I like two of the faith-based films that are playing today, The Hill and Sound of Freedom. Both gets 2.5 stars. Really liked them. Take the family to that. I like saying that on a weekend, holiday weekend. And still didn't care much for Strays, but there you go for some movies. Now, Publicis put out a couple of new lists. I thought they were interesting. See what you think. 3 rudest celebrities and the 3 nicest celebrities.
Lay it on me, Mike.
The 3 rudest celebrities, they say number 3, Michael Jordan. Number 2, Tom Cruise. And number 1, I was shocked, Adam Levine.
Which one?
Nothing shocking about that to me.
3 nicest celebrities. Number 3, Tom Hanks.
Sure, that checks out.
Number 2, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Also checks out, sure.
Number 1, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, the stories they just go on for forever with that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Giving up his first-class flight for an old lady. He stopped that train with his bare hands that was about to run over those orphans. That guy's incredible.
He's got to compensate for his
we're like
poor
family,
acting.
so I want to share something with you. I had COVID about a month ago, and then after testing negative, I got what they call long COVID, this brain fog. Have you heard about this?
Oh, yeah.
It comes and goes, lasts for a few minutes or a few hours, dizziness, confusion, which explains a lot, or a couple of symptoms, but it does go away. But then I found out yesterday some celebrities have it, several. Gwyneth Paltrow, Simon Cowell, Justin Bieber, Billie Eilish all have this brain fog. So,
wow.
If you don't have it, don't get it.
I had in real time when I got COVID, January of 21. I had like 2 weeks of true brain fog. Could not complete a sentence, but then it went away, as far as I know, and I haven't had it back. But yeah, it's not fun to literally go, I have no idea what I'm even thinking about right now.
About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I sat down to work on a report, and I didn't know how to open my computer. I didn't know how to turn it on. And it lasted maybe 5 minutes, and then it sort of came back to me. But it's getting better. It's getting much, much better.
Glad to hear.
And what are you doing for the holiday, Labor Day holiday?
Out, baby, out. Heading up to the big lake they call Gitchagumi, hitting the North Shore.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
What about you?
You know what? We're going to see the grandkids, and I plan on watching a lot of college football.
Attaboy.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And I'm going to sing. It's Aloha Friday. No work till Tuesday. We're going to play today. Aloha Friday. Have a great weekend, and remember, Mili Kalikamaka, Haulimaka, Hiki Holili Yokalani, Kalani Ani Oli Kala Kuku, and a cock and organ, and hoi 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 ho. Aloha.
That's what he was saying.
We got to learn the words to that one of these days so we can sing along.
I think we might. Do you think there are words?
For everyone who thinks that's recorded, I love that he did the long pause and went no work till Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, when he sings, he says Tuesday. When he speaks, he says Tuesday. Yeah, you like that?
I love that.
You love that. You're a big fan of Tuesdays. Tuesday, Wednesday. Sports history on this day, September 1st, 1989. We're going to go back to Atlanta, Georgia. The Atlanta Hawks signed a guy named John Koncak to a 6-year, $13 million deal. That doesn't sound like much money now, but at the time, it was an extraordinary payday for a backup power forward / center. John Koncak was he was just like there to rebound and block an occasional shot. And long story short, the Hawks got kind of hoodwinked into having to pay this guy. For a minute there, he was making more money than Dominique Wilkins. The result was Hawks fans immediately decided they hated this guy. He'd been the fan favorite, the underdog, and then he got $13 million, and everyone in town turned on him immediately. and it was so bad that when I was playing pickup basketball back then, which was every day, I immediately, when I would score, I would say, Koncak, like I was pretending to be. I wouldn't say Jordan or Dr. J. I'd go, Koncak, and people got mad every time.
Yeah.
Like, there's never been a nicest guy in the world, and the whole city just decided overnight we hated his guts. On this day in 2007, for reasons that are beyond my control, I have to say it, I've grown up and spent my life cheering for the University of Michigan Wolverines in football. I don't know. I don't even care, but I can't help it. On this day in 2007, they lost a game in Ann Arbor to Appalachian State, the greatest upset in college football history. And I was in a hotel room in Kansas City watching it, just going, I'm never turning my phone on again. I'm never reading another email. I'm never going to talk to anyone. I just got crushed for weeks after that one. And that night on stage, I remember this very clearly because we lost to Appalachian State. And then there was a fan review that was sent into the website. And this is a quote. Meandering, dull, uninspired. They looked tired and bored. There was a damn drum solo. Please. And then the guy said, 12 songs in 2 hours. Come on, guys, get off the weed. To which I can say, yeah, I feel you. That's what it was. Yeah, it was good day all around for the kid here.
What?
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, September the 1st. It is Labor Day weekend. It is the month of September. It is fall. It is football. It is life itself. Whoo! Did I miss anything?
He's a Minnesotan.
I'm a Minnesotan. Yes, indeedy. We were discussing before the last break first albums. Mine was a Bee Gees album, 2 years on. Zepp came in strong with Kiss Alive 2, also a staple in the Gorman household back in the day.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about that. I want to hear other first albums from here in the room, but first we're going to take a call. Somebody's been on hold through the whole commercial break. Candace, who is it?
We have Jeff from Maple Grove.
Jeff, what's up, brother? Good morning.
Hey, Steve, I love the show. I love the format. I love your trivia every day. It's wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
First album. Well, first 45 that I bought was the Beatles' Paperback Writer and Rain.
My favorite Beatles single. Those two songs, absolutely top notch, man. That's a strong first single.
I love them. You'd get the picture sleeve, and I would get that Stickum stuff from the hobby shop and stick the picture sleeve on my wall in my bedroom.
Oh boy, strong.
And my first, so I only had a few singles, and I finally got my first album, and it was Spencer Davis Group's Greatest Hits.
Spencer Davis coming in strong.
I loved Give Me Some Lovin'. I still love that song to this day. And I loved I'm a Man and Keep on Running.
Yeah.
And Looking Back. Well, then that turned out to be my first big name concert. I lived in a small town up north of only 8,000 people, and Spencer Davis Group were coming to town. And I was only in 7th grade, and I could not believe that my mom and dad let me go to that concert.
Awesome.
All my friends were jealous, and
yeah, of course they were. Good job, Mom and Dad. Spencer Davis Group. Steve Winwood was probably not much older than 7th grade himself when that first got going. He was a teenager.
Yeah,
Right.
Well, that's part of my story. I tell you, this is the funny part. I go to the concert, and I'm just waiting, anticipating "Give Me Some Lovin'" because I just love that song. And they come out, and after a few songs, they do "I'm a Man" and "Give Me Some Lovin'," and I'm standing there going, this doesn't sound like the songs on the radio that I hear on the radio. What's up with this?
Right.
And I go home. I go home after the concert, and I'm like, Mom, this songs didn't sound the same as they sound on the radio. I don't get it. Well, it turns out Stevie Winwood had just left the band.
There you go. Yeah, timing's key in life.
Yeah, and that was the day when, back in the day when you didn't have instant information, and you found out about you'd find out about Stevie Winwood leaving the band, 6 months later in Hit Parader magazine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and by that night, it's old news. It's fungus by that point. You felt it yourself. Hey, we appreciate the call, and thank you for the kind words, brother. Right on. Tony Lee, first album.
Okay, this is kind of weird and dark, but it was DOA by Blood Rock. Was the first record I bought.
I think you've mentioned that
Makes
before.
sense.
Yeah, it's about a plane crash and people bloodied and dying in a plane crash. I would turn off all the lights in my basement and listen to that.
Candace, do we have another caller?
Yes, we have Forrest from Minneapolis.
Forrest, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys and gals. My first album, I was in 6th grade, and my brother goes, I had a lot of brothers, and they had a big record collection, and I think they wanted me to buy it for their collection, but I bought it anyway,
Sure.
Jeff Beck Wired.
Oh, man.
now you're just bragging.
Spectacular.
I listened to that, and then I listened to Blow by Blow, and I'm a huge Beck fan, but
Yeah.
a sixth grader listening to that, really digging it, man.
Yeah, right on.
Anyway, thanks,
Points?
guys. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, thank you. Points for discernment. Sixth grader getting into Beck. That's pretty strong. I like that.
Man of taste.
A man of taste and distinction. Candace,
Yeah,
do we have
that's
another
odd.
caller? Everybody loves the first records looking back. Who else we got?
Rick from Egan.
Rick, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. I love your show, Steve.
Well,
I didn't
Rick,
think
thank you
anybody
very
could
much.
still-
I love your show
Excuse.
too, Steve.
Thanks, Brad.
Anyways, I'm going to date myself. My first album was The Monkees.
Yeah, strong.
Oh, nice.
Nothing wrong
It's
with
way
that.
before you were even born.
Oh, I go back to 65. I think I predated the Monkees by like a month or two at least. But
Oh,
we'll
okay.
see. I don't want to split hairs with you.
But every wannabe rock star like myself learned stepping stone.
Oh, hell yeah. Stepping Stone. The first time I ever played drums in front of people at a party on New Year's Eve 1983, we played I Ain't Your Stepping Stone.
It's a great song.
It's a great song.
Number one garage band song
Yep.
at that time.
That's right. That's right. And so obviously you were a fan of the show as well.
Oh, God, it drove my parents crazy.
Of course
They
you did.
hated it so much, and we watched it every time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was a last train to Clarksville guy myself. That one always worked for me.
Yeah.
It must have been awesome before all the great songs have been written, huh?
Right, exactly. When it just popped into your head and you didn't have to think, is that written before? I know. It's now that I think about it and you bring that up, it's got to be incredibly difficult these days. What melody hasn't been written? What chord, progressions have not been written? You got to really dig deep to come up with something original, I think, these days.
Yeah, you definitely got to take a minute with it. I'm almost afraid to ask. Candace Wheeler, first album.
Well, it was a cassette.
Okay, even better.
Yep.
I can't remember if it was Baby One More Time by Britney Spears or, I remember that one the most because it was such a cute cassette. It was
Sure.
white with baby pink text and
Oh, I can
there was
picture
the
it.
cute little picture book inside and I
Adorbs.
just wore it out. I wore it out. But then
What'd you play that on? What was your first cassette play? Was it a little pink boom box?
it was a boombox, but it changed colors. I bought it I didn't buy it. My mom bought it for me at the Electric Fetus. We used to go there every Sunday after church.
Oh,
right
and
on.
it
Fetus.
was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much fun.
You can get a chunky candy bar at the Electric Fetus
Oh, yeah.
right now.
That's right,
And
you got
every
a
time I
chunky
go,
there.
I get a chunky. Every time now. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. Do we have another caller, Candace?
Yes, Blake from Prior Lake.
Blake, good morning.
What's up, guys?
You tell us, brother.
This is cool as hell.
What do you
I
got?
just
What do you
called. I
got?
didn't think I'd get through
Pot's
this stuff. I'm
legal.
texting what's that?
Nothing.
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry, yeah. No, I just jumped in because I golf a lot, and anytime I'm out with people, I've been doing this for a long time. If it comes, I just be like, hey, what's the first album you ever bought? If I don't know them or whatever, I go,
Yeah.
But I don't say well, and I go, not the one that your parents gave you, the one you bought with your own money. They had to go to a store, had to be your own money, whatever
Sure.
you were, that kind of thing. And mine was CNC Music Factory. It was a tape. It was 50 cents in downtown Prior Lake. Kind of weird, going to make you sweat, right? It was a goofy song in 1987. Yeah, exactly. You got it. Yeah, that's
Wow.
supposed to be kind of goofy and embarrassing, right? Some people
No.
do stuff like Zepp did, and he's got the greatest album of all time. I'm like, good for you,
Well,
that's great parents.
I lucked out, I guess.
Man.
Yeah,
My
that's so
first
cool.
record that I didn't buy was Hanky Panky, though, by Tommy James and the Shondells. My grandma gave it to me, so I can nerd out with the best
cool
of them.
too. Wow. that's
Remember
good stuff.
CC? That was wasn't she? She had something to do with the Milli Vanilli scandal. Like she actually sang on that or something. But I can't remember what it was. But yeah, that
Possibly,
was
sure.
I didn't know what was going on back then. I was like 7 years old.
Hey, thanks for the call, brother. We do appreciate that. Man, yeah, that's interesting. First album I won as a door prize. That was the Bee Gees record. First album with my own money was Beatles 6 with Kansas City and 8 Days a Week.
Oh, Kansas City.
I paid $4.44 for that album at the drug fair, which was like a drugstore, not a open-air bazaar in Ankara, Turkey. Hey, you know what you can do, guys? You can call us and let us know the first album and single you ever bought and had, or you can also plan today from 4 to 6 to meet up with Candace and Leinenkugels at the Cub Wine and Spirits in Stillwater. Whew, man. You can do a lot worse than being in Stillwater today between 4 and 6. Toasting the dog days of summer, there's a chance for you to win Liney's merch for your pup, Liney's paddles on hand, and other gear for you. And plus, of course, you can sample Leinenkugel beer. That's at the Cub Wine and Spirits in Stillwater today with Candace, 4 to 6 p.m.
Woo!
Hot damn. Extra points if you can find a pair of pants in adult sizes that Steve is wearing on the KQ Facebook post today. By the way, you're getting a lot of high fives on that on the KQ Facebook post today. We're talking about that first album that you bought, that first one you enjoyed. High five, Dave, for the George Carlin Indecent Exposure. Didn't even go for music, just went for George Carlin right out of the gate. Strong. Constance has us all beat. No one's going to outcool her first album, Rubber Soul. Wore it out. Nice. That's a good one. Man. Keep them coming. We'd love to hear from you. 651-989-ROCK. That's the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text line. Hang tight.
Hey, hot one today, huh?
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, September the 1st. In about 30 minutes, we're going to be giving away Eric Clapton tickets. Hang around. Listen for your chance to call in and compete with another listener. We always have a good time playing a game for tickets. In the meantime, right now, we are discussing first albums we ever owned and or bought. There's a photo on the KQRS Facebook page. It's a photo of me, 5 years old, sound asleep, laying across the Bee Gees 2 Years On album. Candace said that photo was funny, and I would like to remind you that it is, in fact, adorable, not funny.
Yeah.
Okay?
I didn't say funny. It wasn't adorable. I just thought it was funny because you're just like conked out.
It's adorable. Yeah. End of story.
You know what I love about it? Is that's exactly what happens to me when I listen to the Bee Gees. Just doze right off.
Listen.
Just messing with you now, man.
Oh, man. Those harmonies, that's like mother's milk to me. It puts me down for a warm nap every single time. First album, I didn't mention this. My first single, my first 45 that I purchased myself, Ringo Starr's Photograph. The greatest song called Photograph ever. Sorry, Def Leppard. You're in the two hole.
Yeah.
No. Ringo Photograph to this day, the goosebumps, the eyes start to water a little bit. It just does me in. As it did when I was 8 years old and heard it and was like, that's the saddest, most beautiful song I've ever heard. I have to go buy that song right now. And I did, and I played it 9 million times. Candace, I do believe we have a caller on the phone.
That's professional speak.
Phoner.
Yes, Zach from New Hope.
Zach, good morning.
Man.
What's up, brother?
Not too much. So I heard you guys talking about some first albums, and I have a cool story. When I was a kid, I was a little bit younger than my buddies, and we were all big in the Dukes of Hazzard. So we rolled up to the Wax Museum, and I got the jump on my two older buddies and got the last 45 they had of it. Still have that record to this day.
Heck yeah, man. You talking about the Dukes of Hazzard theme song?
Yep, with Waylon Jennings, and on the cover of the little 45, all they have is like a picture of that custom Telecaster he had with like the white and black like cover on it, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is you mentioned the song Steppin' Stone.
Yep.
Check out Minor Threat's cover of that one. You're talking about every garage band ever. It's a killer version, brother.
Minor Threat, Steppin' Stone. I will check that out. Thank you for the call, brother, and the recommendation.
You bet, brother.
Tony, we've got a bunch of text messages, I believe, on the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text line.
Yeah, these are all great. A little unconventional. First album, let's see, Miami Vice soundtrack.
In the world.
First album was Sesame Street Fever. That's cute.
That's pretty great.
Tom and Buffalo. It was National Lampoon's Lemmings.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff.
Great, yeah. I didn't listen to that till many, many, many years after it was released, but I'm sure I ripped off a lot of that stuff for radio bits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mentioned yesterday that I went to a Kentucky Derby party called the Barnstable Brown Party. It's a big fundraiser gala thing in Louisville, Kentucky, the night before the Derby. And the woman who hosts this party, her name is Trisha Barnstable Brown. She's one of the Doublemint twins from the 70s.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and she still looks just like that. And she and her twin sister are still alive. One of them always wears all white. The other wears all black.
Oh, still.
And they're rich Louisville, Kentucky socialites. And they look great. They have a great party. They welcome people like me. All good.
Nice.
Go figure. Me and Tom Brokaw, the Tomcat, we were hanging.
That's so weird.
The Tomcat. That's an old reference to my old radio show where we constantly discussed Tom Brokaw being a lady killer on the road back in his correspondent days. Just a little throwback moment there. Candace, is there someone else on hold? Candace.
Sorry, my mic wasn't on. My bad. Oh my God. Rick from Monticello.
Rick, good morning.
Hey, Steve. How you doing today?
Really, really good. Thank you, brother. What have you got for us?
The first album I got, Cheech and Chong's Big Bambino.
Yeah.
Oh, strong.
Stoner, you.
Class. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I think I wore that one out. It was just so funny.
That stuff's great. Yeah, we had the wedding album with Earache My Eye. We were just rocking that one on a regular basis too. We had all of them, but wedding album was the one I really loved just for the music on there. Did you buy that record yourself, or was it given to you?
Oh, no. That was a record store purchase. I can't even remember what store it was, but it was. It's like, we got to get this one. I had no idea there was rolling paper in it. So,
that's great, man. Thank you for the call, brother. We appreciate it. I mentioned Bee Gees 2 years on. My oldest brother was playing a community college basketball game, Anne Arundel Community College in Maryland. I go to the game. They have door prizes. And at halftime, the guy goes, ticket number 192 or whatever. And I looked down, and I had the ticket.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, my gosh, they called my ticket number. And I still remember a different older brother said, go get it. Go down to the scores table. And I walked down the bleachers. And I thought, like, everyone's watching me. I am a celebrity now. Like, I'm walking down. And I gave the guy my ticket, and he handed me the Bee Gees 2 years on. And immediately I'm like, this is the greatest album that's ever been recorded. It's mine, therefore it's a classic. Took it home, put it on the turntable. All I listened to. I mean, every day, all day, nonstop. And then my mom picked up the Best of Bee Gees, Volume 1 for me to add to the Bee Gees obsession. And about a month into me being completely Bee Geeified, my older brother Tom one day walked up and he had Meet the Beatles, Help, and Rubber Soul. And he goes, here, take these. Stop playing the Bee Gees. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then it was like, oh, I guess I'm a Beatles fan now too. And that's how it started. But literally, he was spitting mad, fire coming out of his ears. He was so sick of hearing the Bee Gees.
Now, he had to be to give up some Beatles albums, you know.
Yeah,
when you're giving up your Beatles albums, He
had moved on to the prog rock, you know what I mean? He's like,
Bread.
You're not ready for Roundabout, but maybe Meet the Beatles will satisfy you, young lad. It's pretty great. Candace, who else we got on the phone?
Brian from Anoka.
Brian, good morning.
Good morning. I was going to say my first album was Motley Crue's Greatest Hits, the remastered one with the red cover. Got it last year, and it's my first of now 72 albums. So I'm growing my collection of vinyls, and it's been awesome.
Wait, you started last year?
Yeah, you're a year into an album collection. That's fantastic. How old 72. Are you, if you don't mind my asking?
29.
Well done, man. Nice. Coming off the bench late, getting into the game. Yeah, vinyl's coming back, baby. That's what they've been saying forever. But, I mean, it is. So you have how many albums now?
72.
72. And the first one was Motley Crue's Greatest Hits. That is outstanding.
Yeah. Tommy Lee's an animal, so.
Well, this is true.
Literally.
Is this album collection, is this recent album collection of yours, is it all hard rock, or do you go into other genres as well?
A little bit of some odd genres, like, for example, like I've got some movie soundtracks, like Smokey and the Bandit 1 and 2. I've got
Jerry Reed.
We're going to do what they say can't be done, Brian.
Exactly, for sure. So a little bit of everything, but mostly just light rock, hard rock. So
that's awesome.
Everything I listen to here.
Yeah, well, all right. Thank you for the call, Brian. We appreciate it.
Let there be waffles.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday, September the 1st. Pearl Jam played the XL Energy Center last night. I forgot to go.
You just spaced it out.
I totally forgot to go. I had every intention of being at that show. And I woke up this morning and went, what? I feel like did I not turn the stove off? Did I leave the refrigerator open? Oh, I forgot to go see Pearl Jam.
Oops.
Dang it. Oh, well.
It was packed down there. I actually went down there
You did?
just to go to dinner, and it was wild.
What?
Yeah.
Wild
you
dinner?
went down to St. Paul. You went to St. Paul to have dinner out near the arena, just to soak up the vibe, I guess.
Yeah, just want to soak up the vibe.
And was the vibe soak worthy?
It was a lot of hottie patatis. Yeah, a lot of couples too. I was a lot of couples.
Date night.
Date night with. Was anybody wearing their PJs to see PJ? Is that a thing? Wouldn't that be great if Pearl Jam fans all wore their PJs to see the band?
Or a string of pearls.
Wow.
With their PJs.
Kind of classy. Kind of classy or kind of nasty, depending on how you like to think about those things. Eric Clapton is going to be at that very same venue, the XL Energy Center, Thursday, September the 14th. And wait for it. We got tickets, baby. And we're going to give away a couple of tickets. We've got tickets to see Eric Clapton at the XL Energy Center. We have tickets to the Field of Bands featuring Arch Allies at the Washington County Fairgrounds. Winner gets Clapton. Runner-up gets Field of Bands. And, of course, as always, we've got a game to play. Tony, what is today's game?
Let's play. Let's play a fun game.
Words and music.
The lyrics.
The lyrics.
The lyrics.
The lyrics.
All lies.
Lies. Lies. These are all lies.
Oh, lies!
Lyrics or lies? Yes, we'll read a set of lyrics. You tell us, are they actual lyrics from a Clapton song or are they not?
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so that's how it goes. Lyrics or lies. Candace, who's contestant number one?
We have Paul from Oakdale.
Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
You a Clapton fan?
Yes, I am.
Right on. So lyrics and lies. Tony's gonna share some lyrics with you, and you tell us if it is in fact a lyric from a Clapton song, or if Tony's just a bold-faced liar.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Right. Let's go, Tony.
All right, Paul. Number one, after midnight, we're going to let it all hang down. After midnight, we're going to chug-a-lug and shout.
Yes.
That is a Clapton tune. It is. Very nice.
Lyrics. 1 for 1. Good start, Paul.
Number two, it's in the way that you use it. It comes and it goes. It's in the way that you use it. Boy, don't you know.
Yes, it is.
Clear
Paul,
money.
speaking from personal experience, knows how to use it.
That's just a good song.
You're right.
It's good.
He had that cute shirt on in the video.
Yeah.
Wow. Paulie, number three. Melinda was mine to the time that I found her, holding Jim, loving him. Then Sue came along, loved me strong. That's what I thought, me and Sue, but that died too.
Yes.
I'm
sorry, that is Solitary Man by Neil Diamond.
Oh.
Dang.
Oh, holy smokes.
One of the first and only Neil Eric mistaken identity moments in rock radio rock history.
All right, Paul, got two more for you. Number four, got an urge, got a surge, and it's out of control. Got an urge, I want to purge because I'm losing control.
No.
Correct. That is. You know that, Steve-O.
Come on, Devo. I got an uncontrollable urge, baby. Good job, Paul.
All righty.
All right, Paul, your last one. Pressed Rat and Warthog have closed down their shop. They didn't want to. 'Twas all they had got. Selling atonal apples, amplified heat, and Pressed Rat's collection of dog legs and feet.
No.
I'm sorry, that is Pressed Rat and Warthog. Not so well-known song by Cream.
Not so well known at all.
That one escaped me as well.
Mm-hmm. I know, it was a tough one.
I'm sure if you played it, I'd go, oh, I've heard that. But no, nothing comes to mind.
Okay. Well, he did very well.
I believe that was 3 for 5. Correct? Got 3 right.
Yes.
2 wrong.
Yes.
3 for
Good
5.
job,
Paul, you're at 600%. That's a fine batting average.
Paul.
Well done, sir. Sit tight, Paul. We're going to see what caller number 2 is got going on with their Eric Clapton lyrics. Candace, who is caller number 2?
Justin from Coon Rapids.
Justin, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you feeling up to snuff with your Clapton lyrics?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I think so, too. I like it. I feel like you got the requisite amount of confidence coming into this. Tony, let's see what Justin has.
Let's go, Justin. It's late in the evening. She's wondering what clothes to wear. She puts on her makeup and brushes her long blonde hair.
Yes.
Yup. Wonderful tonight.
Bam.
Clapton. Beautiful. Next one. I said, you want to be starting something, you got to be starting something. I said, you want to be starting something, you got to be starting something.
Now what?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. That's Michael Jackson. But whoopsie daisy.
What's that song called?
Starting something.
Starting something. Yeah.
Want to be.
Want to be
Starting something. Next up, I'll wait in this place where the sun never shines. Wait in this place where the shadows run from themselves.
Yes.
White Room, Cream. Very good. Good for you.
Bam.
Next up, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life.
No.
Yes, that, of course, is theme from the TV show The Facts of Life.
But I'm just picturing it, with a nice, with a tasteful slide part played over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get slow hand on the little 2D's theme
Right.
and see what happens.
Alan Thicke written. Of course, you knew that.
Wait a minute. Sorry, Justin, hang on a sec. What?
Yes, he wrote the theme.
Alan Thicke
Yes, sir.
wrote the theme to The Facts of Life.
Sounds
The guy
about
whose
right.
son
I
then
didn't
ripped
know
off
that.
Marvin Gaye. God, go figure. All right.
All right, here you go. I think this is the last one.
This is for the win, Justin.
All right. Let's do it.
Justin, we are never, ever, ever getting back together. You go talk to your friends, talk to my friends, talk to me, but we are never, ever, ever, ever getting back together.
Yes.
I am sorry, that is
I'm not laughing at
Taylor
you.
Swift.
Oh, I thought it was.
Michael Jackson.
I thought it was George Harrison. I thought he wrote
Yes.
that about Patty after Eric Stoller. Oh,
That was
right.
the FU song from Harry Nilsson.
Man. Wow. Wow. Justin and Paul, you both went 3 for 5, guys. Well played, but it looks like it's time for a tiebreaker.
Oh, boy.
What's today's tiebreaker? What are we doing here? Just a question?
Yeah.
True or false? Is it a yes or no? What do we got?
A numerical question.
All right. A numerical question. Paul, you will answer first.
All right, fellas, how many times has Eric Clapton been inducted into the Hall of Fame? A number.
Paul?
No looking it up.
One time.
All right.
All right. Justin, what do you think?
I would say 3 times.
3 times.
Not
Oh,
a
boy.
bad answer.
Here we go.
Mr. Man, you nailed it. It was 3 times
Yes,
for
sir.
solo work at Yardbirds and Cream. 3
Yes,
times.
Wow.
Thrice.
That's impressive. Justin, congratulations, sir. You will be seeing Eric Clapton September 14th
Thank you very much.
at the XL Energy Center. Paul, Field of Bands featuring Arch Allies at the Washington County Fairgrounds. Not a bad runner-up prize. Guys, thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just think if Harrison hadn't come back to the Beatles, he would have gone in 4 times. You know, they were batting around bringing Clapton
Oh,
in when
that's
Harrison
right. Yeah,
ducked
they
out there
sure did.
shortly.
Yeah.
Of course, he was on My Guitar Gently Weeps.
That is a very good point, my friend.
He hung out with some heavy hitters back in the day. He was a heavy hitter. Still is.
Still is. Still out there doing
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Man, 3 times in. Because when he said that, I was like, wait, hold on. Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Cream.
Cream.
The Yardbirds escaped me. Go figure.
The Birds.
Yardbirds, pretty good run there. Beck, Clapton, and Page. As I mentioned, they just grew up in the same neighborhood, like literally around the corner from each other.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that is pretty wild. We were talking earlier about first albums, first records.
Yeah.
first concert you ever saw that you meant to see, like not a not a dorky one like your dad or mom drug you to. Mine was Heart with Walter Egan, the Magnet and Steel guy was the opening act. So technically, the first gig I ever saw was Walter Egan. You are the magnet, I am the steel. And I remember walking into Rupp Arena and looking at it and just thinking, like, I have finally arrived. I'm at a Walter Egan gig.
Oh, right.
Never been more excited to be anywhere in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, true story.
I think mine was a double bill. I only say a double bill because I remember talking to a friend at football camp that summer, and he saw Loverboy play before Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. And when I saw them, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts opened for Loverboy. So I think they were doing that every other. But yeah, that was my first one, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts and Loverboy.
Mine was the Doobie Brothers and Foghat.
Oh, that's a
Dual
great
threat.
one.
Very
yeah, no
strong.
kidding. Damn. Very good.
A lot of weed.
Don't you want to hear mine?
We're all ears.
Avril Lavigne.
Oh,
And I wore a tie.
of course you did.
That is outstanding.
And I cried.
Is that all you wore?
No, I was 13, you creep.
All right, well, so Avril, I just saw her topless on the internet the other day. It was just,
Nice.
just jumped on Facebook and someone posted a picture of her and she had they had squirreled out her nips, I thought that was a thing. And she was wearing a tie. So that's why I thought that was the look.
16 anymore.
I remember when the Avril Lavigne thing exploded, she did Saturday Night Live, and she sang a song called, like, I'm With You, I believe it was called.
Yes, it's the greatest song of all time.
Yeah, and I remember watching it, and I thought to myself, if I were in high school right now and I saw this girl singing that song, staring into the camera, I would have dropped out of school and driven to where she was and kidnapped her.
What
I was
genre
like,
of
oh
music
my
was she?
God.
Become a skater boy.
You
She'd
guys
been
don't even
also,
know.
she was skater music. I thought maybe she was country or something. I don't
No,
know.
she is the bomb. And I saw her last year, so 20 years later.
That's
and
right.
I was like, it was crazy. I cried. It was crazy.
You cried
That is
again.
crazy.
Crazy, man.
In the game we just played, Tony, you quoted Uncontrollable Urge by Devo.
Sure, damn right I did.
I also saw Devo on Saturday Night Live, but in real time back in 1978. And that was my life was changed after watching Devo perform Satisfaction on TV. I was so confused and bewildered and excited. But then shortly after that, they were on the ABC show Fridays. Remember Fridays was like ABC's version of SNL for a while?
Michael Richards.
Yeah,
was on
Kramer
that.
started there. Devo on Fridays, they played Uncontrollable Urge. It's easily one of the top 5 TV rock band performances ever. It's just spectacular. I watch it kind of regularly, which is troubling, really, that I still go back and find it. But it was great. I saw Devo. It's funny, Saturday Night Live used to I guess it still matters, I guess, on some level, but they truly broke bands back in the day, and the two that I just stared at the TV, mouth open, confused, but completely on board, Devo and the B-52s.
Oh, yeah.
First time seeing the B-52s doing Rock Lobster, I was like, I don't know what it is, but I'm so in, I don't know how to explain this.
Mark Mothersbaugh lives here.
I'm aware of that. I am on the lookout for Mark Mothersbaugh. Haven't seen him yet. Gerald V. Casale, his partner in Devo, Kent State student, standing with his girlfriend as she was shot by a National Guardsman.
Oh, you're kidding
And he
me.
says that's the day Devo was formed. The concept of de-evolution after Kent State. It's an incredibly, it's a thick read, man. Those guys were not kidding around.
God dang.
Yeah, seriously. I was like, whoa.
Fun.
Didn't see that one coming.
No,
Okay. A little
no.
bit of depth to the concept behind this band.
Right.
Fair enough.
Oh, let's whip it good.
Yeah, make no mistake. Whipping it real good. We're going to whip it good up at Gull Lake. Check this out, guys. If you have not yet bought tickets for KQ up north, I don't know what you're waiting for. We're heading up to Cragun's on Gull Lake, that resort, October 5th through the 8th. Our friends from BigDeck.com bringing us up to Brainerd area. Join us. There's going to be a live broadcast of this, the KQ Morning Show. There will be drinks on a boat cruise. There will be golf. There will be dinner and more. Again, BigDeck.com and Cragun's Resort on Gull Lake. Making it all happen October 5th through the 8th. Go to the KQRS website. Buy tickets. Let's roll.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, we're remembering first albums on Phone It In Friday. Join us. Give us a call here at 989 or 651-989-ROCK. That's the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and text line. Just on a adorable picture. Is that what we're going with? Adorable picture?
Adorbs.
Adorkable.
Our little adorbs. Oh.
Adorbs.
Yeah, this is my last day on radio. I said if I ever said the word adorbs, I'd pack it in. All right. Well, I'm going to go fill out some job applications. If you want to get in on the first album conversation, 651-989-ROCK or the KQ Facebook page. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, September the 1st. In about 30 minutes, 9 o'clock, a great comedian named Brian Miller is going to be joining us in studio. That's kind of cool. He'll be at Acme this weekend. In the meantime, it's Labor Day weekend. Today, TSA is expecting millions and millions and millions of people flying all over America. If you have a flight today and you are not already on your way to the airport, TSA recommends you head there earlier than you may think you need to. Lines are expected to be way longer than usual. It's a huge travel weekend, and today is the busiest day for sure. So safe travels to anyone who plans to get on a plane. And if you, of course, check a bag, you want to not experience what a passenger on American just did. There's a story in the New York Post. A passenger waiting at baggage claim the other day, suitcase came on, the bag comes looping around. She's like, boy, that looks a little dingy. Opens her suitcase. It was apparently, as the suitcase was being transferred from the airplane to the baggage claim area, it fell off the little cart on the tarmac and then was run over by the truck itself.
Oh, jeez.
And there are photos on this post, but the woman's suitcase is basically destroyed, totally mangled. Every piece of her clothing is filthy, like it was run through a pile of dirt. And then the non-clothing items were all completely mangled. It truly looks like it wasn't run over by the baggage car. It was run over and stopped. Like the guy stopped the tire on it, maybe backed over it 2, 3, 4 times just to make sure it was dead. I don't know what the guy was thinking. But I mean, I've had a suitcase that was lost for like 4 days, like once in all. I've traveled a lot. I've had a suitcase. Sorry, it's on the next flight. That's happened to me. But a mangled suitcase. I mean, I've never even seen something like that. I have seen people receive a suitcase that was opened and not closed all the way, or something. A shoulder bag opens up or whatever. But I've never seen anything like this.
It's like being mugged.
It is like being mugged. I mean, this woman's stuff is completely destroyed. It's so over the top. It's actually just darn right funny.
She clearly had a lot of makeup in there. There's powder everywhere and tubes. She has a lot of tubes of stuff.
A lot of tubes.
I guess I don't know what goes into a woman's bag. I guess all these things have to come along. Yeah, I like if you scroll down to the bottom of this story, I'm looking at them on the New York Post this morning. Some guys holding the handle of what looks like a duffel bag, and then the cloth just around the handle. Yeah. That's what showed up. Just the handle.
The handle. Man. American Airlines, another story from this week. The federal government just fined American $4.1 million for dozens of instances where passengers were kept on board planes without a chance to exit during long ground delays. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you. You get on a plane, it pushes away from the gate, and then for whatever reason, it just stays for hours on end out on the tarmac. It doesn't come back to the gate. It doesn't take off. That has happened to me one time, and it was because of storms. I was at LaGuardia Airport, and the plane pushed away. And the guy said, we're like number 31 for takeoff. It's going to be a long time. And he said, we're trying to get all these planes out before a big storm rolls in. And then it was in the summer. And then one of those big summer storm, a big rumbler came in. And we sat in line on the tarmac as a giant thunderstorm rolled through slowly. Long story short, it was just under 6 hours.
Oh my God.
No, full on.
Oh, my God.
5 hours, 40 minutes.
I would have been kicking out a window. That's how they would have arrested me.
The guy, and he said we can't if we go back, because people were saying like just get us back to the gate, and he said if we do that we lose our place in line.
So what?
We're never taking off.
Book another flight. I mean,
5 hours 40 minutes. Summer of 2000.
That's horrible.
I think I'd rather go back, book another flight. Have to deal with the delay of the trip. I guess it depends on where I was going. I remember on a ski trip, you fly into a lot of small airports, Kalispell, Montana, and it was only an hour wait. Sorry, I'm even complaining about it now after a 6-hour wait. But it was a 1-hour wait, but it was the reason why. We're in Kalispell, Montana, the northwest stretch of Montana up there by Glacier, in the middle of winter. And they said, well, you know what, folks, we're going to have to wait for a while because we have to de-ice the wings. Oh, okay, what are we talking about, 5-10 minutes? So, well, and then he comes on and he explains it's going to be a little while. And I'm like thinking, how many planes? This isn't O'Hare, for crying out loud, with the big coming in off the lake, and you have 200 planes. What do we have, like 3 planes out on the tarmac here that have to be de-iced? No, they had to call the guy that owns the de-icing truck at home, wake him up.
Yeah, right.
It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and have him drive it. I'm like, you don't have a full-time de-icer in Montana in the middle of the winter?
Nice.
But that was just 1 hour. Last year, I remember, this wasn't American Airlines, but those some folks, I think it was Spain to Italy, and in Spain it was 107 degrees that day, and those folks got caught out there for 3 hours, but several people were pooping and peeing their pants.
Oh, yeah.
How would you like to be on that 100, whatever it was inside? It was 107 outside, no air inside. The plane was off, that had no power. That's why they were stuck there. It was a mechanical thing. They had to tow them back in, but it took 3 hours.
Oh, my God.
It had to be 120s, 130s in that plane, and people were just evacuating themselves. That would be, those people all deserve $4.1 million.
My experience on that tarmac, it was compounded by the fact that I was leaving home for the first time after our son was born. He was 3 weeks old. Or 2.5 weeks. I'd had these great 2.5 weeks with a brand new bouncing baby boy, and then I had to go back out on tour. And summer of 2000, we were doing gigs with Jimmy Page. And so I got to LaGuardia, and it was an Friday afternoon. I had the flight was supposed to take off at 1 p.m. And so I got through TSA, and then in the airport bar, I see our sound man. I go sit with him. He's like, "Oh my God, you had the baby! Congrats!" I'm showing him pictures. He's the beers are on me. We have a few because I'm thinking I'm going to get on this plane. I'm going to fly to Dallas. We're going to connect to Albuquerque, and I'll sleep on this plane. So I'll just go ahead and have a few beers now with my sound man Jeff, and then this will time out perfectly. And then of course, no, nothing happened. 5.5 hours sitting there waiting to take off. 5.5 hours wherein they did not serve drinks. There was no alcohol.
What?
They wouldn't serve alcohol.
All right, this is getting bad.
And
now.
I'm like, and I just tied on enough of a buzz where it's like, no, but I need to keep drinking or this is going to be terrible. And then I couldn't fall asleep. And then I have just had a few enough beers to give me a headache because I had to stop drinking. And then the whole time I'm like 7 miles from my baby, and I'm just sitting here, and I want to be there. It was just, it made the fact that I was leaving home that much worse.
That's an awful story.
Get to Dallas-Fort Worth, and then there we're delayed. True story. I left my apartment in New York at like 11 a.m., and I got to Albuquerque at 4 a.m. Albuquerque time. It's crazy.
Like I said, I've been on a plane for an hour, and things were getting fidgety after about an hour. What's happening in hour number 5? On the plane.
Brutal.
I mean,
it's terrible.
and
a long line of planes. It was not just mine. I mean, every plane out there, and a solid 2 hours of that 5 hour plus was just rain and thunder and lightning, like a true summer storm you get down south. But it was New York City. It really was weird. It was just like a violent storm. Like, wow. Holy crap, they really don't want me to get out of here.
You were forced to read the In-Flight magazine.
Over and over and over.
He actually knew where all the exits were and how to get out of that plane in a variety of situations.
I knocked out the crossword 3 different times. It was fantastic. I also had a weird experience where I was flying into New York City, but the fog was so bad at JFK, they made us land at Newark. And so a flight to JFK, which is out in Queens, landed in Newark, New Jersey at night, which means you've got a whole plane of people who, whatever transportation they've arranged, they have to change it now because we're in another state at another airport. And we pulled up to the gate after a flight from Europe, and sat there for 2 hours. Why? Because there were no customs officials ready to meet the plane because it was not scheduled to be there. And they never you can't let people off the plane if there are not customs agents on site. So after like a 10-hour flight, then we sat at the gate for 2 hours. That was kind of rough. That was pretty rough too.
Yeah, I'm not a patient. I hear Mom, pack your patience, Brian. I'm not a patient traveler. I don't freak out or anything. That's Mom. Pack your That's Dottie.
I got to remember that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it flashes through my head as I'm sitting there gripping the seat with white knuckles, thinking, don't be that guy. Don't be the lead story on every morning show radio station tomorrow morning. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, right.
Just flash him your sixth toe. And everything about that story yesterday. I had more people contacting me over that story.
That toe.
After that photo haunted them. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have taken the exit ramp there. People are going, what's he talking about? They're saying it's going to be hell at the airport, honey. Hurry, get in the left lane,
I shared that story with my wife after we got off the air yesterday and showed her the photo, and she was not happy about it. She's like,
no,
why would you show this to me?
That's the reaction I was getting. Why would you do that? I'm like, for this very effect right here. Now, look, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while.
That's how that works. Hey, big win last night for the Gophers, by the way.
Yes.
Let's not forget the comeback over Nebraska.
We said this word, a lot of you know, poise. Since January, we knew that there'd be really high highs and lows of the season, and every single football game. A lot of people out there getting their first experience as starters, as players that have to make huge plays in that moment when we're just not just relying on one person. They had a lot of gut checks throughout that entire football game.
Yeah, and I guess it was a big play at the end, and the defense turning up big.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Last night, as I've already mentioned, I forgot to go to the Pearl Jam concert. Mm-hmm. Things happened, and I had a senior moment. Literally, fully planned to have a whole game plan. Just totally blew it off. But at some point, my wife and I decided there's a little taqueria right on the corner. We're like, oh, you know what? Let's just do that. Forgot there was a Minnesota home football game. Came right into Dinkytown.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
About 700 college students in those overalls.
Oh, you were
the striped overalls.
Sure, student section.
I pulled right before I knew what was happening. It was just I was screwed. I was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get out of here.
It was wear gold night too.
Yeah.
I miss it so much. I would literally do college all over again. I had such a wonderful, fun experience at the U of M. It was just a blast.
I would do college all over again, and I would go to a different school than I do. Western Kentucky, love you Hilltoppers, but man, it wasn't what I was looking for, as it turns out. I got there, I played a lot of basketball, just pickup games. I probably averaged 2.5 hours a day for 3.5 years. My game was on point. Yeah. But as far as a lot of the other things with college, no, I would have loved to have been at a massive school like the U down here. It would have been great.
Yeah, something a really cool, old, fantastic campus and land far away. I never got out of the Midwest. I went up the road like 70 miles to Aberdeen, South Dakota Northern. But I would do it all over again because I did it right. I never went to class. I flunked out after 3 years, played a lot of football.
Sure.
Used my military money, the GI Bill. Thank you, taxpayers. You know what you bought with that? You bought a Kawasaki 450, and you also bought a killer stereo system and one hell of a kegger. They're still talking about the Kramer
Let me
keg.
tell you something. If you told me that my tax dollars were going to give every veteran a motorcycle and a stereo system and a keg, I'd be like, yeah, that checks out totally. That's great.
I wish I would have done more while I was serving to earn it. But
thank you for your service. Here's a bike and a stereo. Go get them, man.
All right, I'm feeling better about it now.
Be fantastic. Hey, 92 KQRS is live at the Minnesota State Fair through Sunday. You can stop by the KQ Outdoor Lounge at the corner of Cooper and Lee. Pick up some brand new KQ gear. The swag is on point this year. We're going to have a chance for you to win a Liberty Safe or airfare to the destination of your choice. Plus, every day there will be a shot to win $100 in free groceries. It's all happening at the corner of Cooper and Lee at the KQ Outdoor Lounge. Complete contest rules at 92KQRS.com. All of this sponsored by the good people at Minnesota Roofing Company.
Acme Comedy Company headliner Brian Miller in studio at 9 o'clock. Hang tight.
You're pretty.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. Where's my mic? I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show.
You did it.
I did it. I got a problem. There it is.
You're a big boy.
I am. I turned my microphone on by myself. Mom and Daddy call me Muscle Boy. It is Friday, September the 1st. Very, very, very happy to be here alongside my cohorts, Zep, Tony, and Candace, but also right now joined in studio by Brian Miller. You're a funny guy, Brian Miller. Welcome to the show.
Hello. That's what they tell me.
You're going to be at the Acme Comedy Club a bunch over the next few nights. Tonight, 2 shows, 7 to 9:30. Tomorrow, 2 shows, 7 to 9:30. And then continuing through next week. And we've got a big event we're all going to be a part of, I believe, this coming Wednesday night.
Yeah, we'll see the whole crew out there.
And this is called the funniest... Tell me what this is again. It's not the funniest. It's the funniest person in the Twin Cities contest.
Yes, funniest person in the Twin Cities contest, which I asked the big boss man one time why that is. And he said, well, it's an amateur contest. You're not the funniest comedian. You're the funniest person.
Funniest person.
You're not a comedian yet. You're
Got
still
it.
just a person.
So this is a chance for people who are not professional comedians, who've never been paid to be funny, get on stage, and then we mercilessly judge them. Do I have that right?
Absolutely. You get to judge the hell out of them.
That's going to be great. But before all that happens, you have your own sets tonight and tomorrow night, and then there will be a semifinal round over the weekend. Correct?
Yep. And then people can also come and judge me. You're allowed to fill out a score sheet if you're inclined. It doesn't count toward anything.
I like that.
But there's no rule against it.
I'd like to, if you don't mind, I'd like to, you know what, I'll take a baseball score sheet. It's pretty complicated.
Yeah.
And we'll just come in and we'll just mark you down constantly.
Right. Every time you mark in the errors, that was a single,
What about like the Olympic judges? Can we hold up cards with scores on it?
Yeah. I think it's silent, I don't think the ushers would say anything about that.
Will you be, speaking of Olympic judges and scorecards, any chance that you're going leotard on stage? Like a one-piece,
No, I don't think the pressure of the stage does a lot to help you present in that way. So I don't know that a tighter pants would help.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
You got good hair. You're off to a flying start.
I thank you. As I'm getting older, and I've decided I'm a hair guy now. That's the thing that's separating me from all my high school classmates. Is I still got you can get your hand stuck in my hair still.
You're speaking my language, brother.
Yeah, that's what that's what I've really. The older you get, you have to pick one feature that you really lean into to distract people from all the other ones.
Right,
You used to see these old ladies, and you're like, well, that's a little uncouth, how much cleavage she's showing. It's like, no, she's keeping your eyes from other things.
That's exactly what that is.
It's a false flag, she's trying to get your attention directed elsewhere.
Brian Miller's with us on the KQ Morning Show. You're at Acme Comedy Club tonight, tomorrow night, 2 shows each night. You have been in the Twin Cities, you were just saying, 15, 16 years
15 years, yeah. I moved here to start comedy, basically.
Which you're not alone in that. This is a comedy hub.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah. I knew that long before I got here. I've always heard. I have a good buddy who's going to be here at the end of this month. Jeff Cesario is coming back to town.
Love Cesario.
And he and I go way back. And so I heard tale of, let me tell you the old days of the Minneapolis comedy scene.
Yeah.
But, through him years and years ago, I was always hearing about what a great place this is for that world.
Yeah, and Chet Waterhouse, his character, is really making a comeback.
Incredible.
Right.
He's very funny.
Yeah, he is very funny. The voice of the speed fishing championships every year. It's one of my favorite bits of all time. We were talking earlier on the show, Brian Miller, about first albums we ever owned or purchased ourselves.
Oh.
I got a Bee Gees album in 1971 when I was 5 years old.
Sure.
Your first album was what?
I am positive my first album was Michael Jackson's Thriller.
That one moved a few copies.
Yeah, so it's I feel
That
like
did okay.
statistically most people's first album was Michael Jackson's Thriller. Number 2 is Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet.
Wow. Child of the 80s.
Party boy.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Good Lord. And so you were down in southern Illinois at this time, right?
Yeah, far southern, Metropolis, Illinois, right across the river from Paducah, my birthplace.
Right. A Kentucky man right here.
Yeah,
Paducah,
we were from basically the same area.
Pretty close. Pretty close. You were from a town that a lot of people would look down their nose at. I'm from a town where we looked at Paducah and went, man, they got everything there. They've got 3 McDonald's in that.
Oh, yeah.
Paducah,
Cracker-Barrel by the movie theater. What more could you need?
Incredible right there. But then you slowly moved your way north to Chicago for college. Now here doing comedy. And again, this weekend at Acme, did you ever think so you came here to start comedy, but when did that start to form in the back of your mind, like I think I'm kind of funny. I think I want to do this. I want to get a mic and I want to get it in front of strangers.
Yeah, I always just liked stand-up, and I watched a ton of stand-up. You know, in the 80s, like Stand-Up Spotlight on VH1.
Sure.
And Comic Strip Live on Fox. There was a lot of comedy on TV.
HBO, they always had their, you'd see like 4 new comics every year. That was huge.
Yeah, so I watched a lot of it. I always enjoyed it. And then when I was in college, I was doing some readings. I was an English major.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of times I just wrote some funny thing because I was tired of all the serious, artsy-fartsy stuff. And I would read these pieces, and they would get big laughs. And I think, like, it's a lot more fun to be funny than to be all serious.
Right.
Yeah, and so then I just started kind of back in my head, I wanted to do it. So, but you have to move to a city. It's not a small town pursuit, to say the least.
It's not at all, but it's a good lesson to remind younger listeners, if you want your parents to support a career in comedy, be an English major.
Yes, exactly.
And then they'll go, oh, yes, no, thank God, drop the Shakespeare. Let's go to comedy.
It's a lot easier to sit through, Then reading your thesis is a lot more boring than watching your show.
Without question about that. Was there ever a thought of doing... did you ever play music? Did you ever, like, high school band, anything like that ever happen?
No, my stepdad is a very talented musician, has a lot of albums, and my sister is in like 3 bands in L.A., but I can't play anything.
So Slippery When Wet didn't spur some new thing inside you.
Although it makes me drive a lot safer. I still think about that when I'm on the road. Remember, the road is indeed slippery when wet, because it's not a metaphor, it's just true.
No, it's absolutely true. I mean, I'm thinking
public
too.
service-minded.
We've already discussed that beautiful head of hair, so I thought maybe there was a tie-in with John Bon Jovi. Back
I think I listened to it so much that JBJ's hair just started coming out of my follicles here. It just started blooming like a rock werewolf.
I would bet, Brian, with that hair at some point in your life, maybe it was the Slippery When Wet years, you didn't let it go long, shoulder length, and just let that sucker go in the breeze.
Here's the dark secret of my great hair.
All right.
I can't grow it out because it doesn't grow down, it grows out. It poofs. I get mushroom-like. I look like I look like one of those old Grateful Dead mushroom posters, on the wall. Like it's bad. So I have to keep it, curated.
Nice. Now listen, I'm on the Acme Comedy.com website.
Yeah.
Then you go to Brian Miller with a couple of shows tonight, tomorrow night, and then again with us next Wednesday at 8 p.m. And I click on biography, and there you are, Brian. I'm looking at the hair. It's beautiful. And one big at Little Six Bingo Palace. Now, I used to call bingo back before I got into radio when I was going to Brown back in the late 80s when it was just literally a shack out there. We were calling bingo out there. It was one of my first jobs in Minnesota. Did you, in fact, win big at Little Six Bingo?
No, I won big at a thrift store, and I found that shirt for $5.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
that's outstanding. I love it. I just want to make the comment.
No, it's a fair question.
I have also called bingo in my life. A little place called Blazer Bingo, Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My grandma might have played there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, that's very possible.
My mom opened that bingo parlor as a way to raise money for my school. She was the director of development, which meant open a bingo parlor.
Sure.
Did very well for many years. I got into a lot of trouble calling bingo because I, just being a college student at the time, I promised that the big jackpot at the end of the night, it was going to be, this is $500 cash and the keys to a brand new car. I thought that was a funny thing to say.
Oh, no. Yeah, they don't joke.
No, an elderly gentleman won, and he was literally, his eyes were moist because he thought he'd won a brand new car. And turned into an incredibly awkward moment in my life.
Yeah.
And then I said, no, I didn't say a car. I said the keys to a brand new car. That actually made it worse. Then I was insulting his injured psyche, and boy, did my mom not think I was funny at that moment.
A few months ago, I was at a bar that right before I went on stage informed me my pay was going to be lower than they'd said it was going to be. So once I got on stage, I announced that for the next 20 minutes, Mick Golden Lights were 25 cents each. And just watched everyone rush the bar. And then I was like, all right, good night. And I left.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. And by the way, speaking of thrift store finds, again, the T-shirt, the photo of you in the Little Six Bingo Palace T-shirt, it's amazing when I bought a windbreaker at an AmVets in the late 80s, and it said on the back, Mableton Boxing Club State Champ. And then on the front, it said State Champ Heavyweight. It was just a red windbreaker. And I would wear it, and I never, ever was not challenged to a fight while wearing a jacket. It says state champion heavyweight, and people at bar would be like, oh, you think you're so tough? And I'm like, I would see that jacket and immediately not want to fight that guy.
Yeah.
It's amazing how often people just started sizing me up, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wear this jacket anymore. I'm going to get my ass kicked. It cost me 75 cents to get my ass kicked.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
That's the secret. I have a couple of friends who are like big guys, and that's who people challenge to a fight. It's either the littlest guys or the biggest guys. If you're like me and you're like a regular 6 foot, 180, you can just coast through life.
Yeah.
We just get to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a really good 6 foot 180. Like you could play shortstop. You can go to left field. You can do whatever you need to do.
I'm basically invisible.
Any sports growing up?
Yeah, I played hockey in high school.
Hockey in Southern Illinois.
Mostly inline because we didn't have a lot of ice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it was big at the time. Hockey really was big in the 90s, had that. And so they converted a lot of indoor soccer arenas. So you would have the boards and all the stuff. I mean, it really felt like playing ice hockey.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get you had to go to Cape Girardeau to get the ice.
Cape Girardeau, wow.
Yeah.
Blast from the past.
You ever go to the Cajun restaurant down there, Broussard's?
No, I haven't.
Amazing Cajun restaurant. One of the best Cajun restaurants I've been to that wasn't, of course, in New Orleans.
I'm not aware of the Cajun scene in Southern Illinois, but it's probably worth. I guess I need to be.
Well, they opened one in Paducah, so next time you're in Paducah, you can stop by Broussard's, get some etouffee.
Can't get any ice in your drinks, though. That's kind of a drag.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you got that etouffee, you don't get the ice. Life's a balancing act.
Yeah.
We all know that. Do you put any thought into what you're going to wear on stage, or do you just grab the first thrift store T-shirt you can find?
I am such a bland dresser that I have just a rack of buttoned-up shirts, and it looks. You remember the show Ernest? Remember Ernest P. Worrell?
Sure.
And they show his closet, and his closet was all the same denim shirt.
Yeah, right.
That's what my closet looks like. It's like 50 different blue button-up shirts.
Nice.
So it kind of doesn't matter which one I grab.
Yeah.
Sometimes the waitresses at Acme will be like, "You wore that shirt last night," and I'm like, "Touche! I wore an almost identical shirt last night. It was not the same shirt."
I have like 7 denim shirts, and they are all just the tone is just a little different each time.
Yeah.
And every time I bring one home, I'm like, why did I buy this? I already have all these done. It's a weird thing with me that I just a few years ago finally noticed. So I'm trying to stop buying denim. I see them, I'm like, oh, that looks cool. That would look good. And then I realize I already have a bunch of them. It's kind of a pointless exercise. First joke you ever wrote, how old were you?
Oof, boy, that's
or either wrote or just conjured, whatever the word would be.
I did a 5th grade talent show set.
Nice.
So that was probably the first time. I remember I got in trouble because I made a Pee Wee Herman reference when that was there was a sharp edge to that at the time.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to say it. Do you remember any of your earliest jokes, like even from 5th grade or otherwise? Like, what's one that you can look back on and go,
man. Oh boy, I can't tell that one. I really don't. I remember I was a kind of class clown, so I remember mouthing off to teachers. That was the main thing.
Sure.
Because I was kind of a nerd, and I figured out that if you wanted to keep getting beat up, you just needed to get in trouble every now and then, and people
make fun of the teacher.
Yeah, so you just make fun of the teacher every now and then. Yeah, I did a lot of that.
So any superlatives in the high school yearbook? Were you most likely or the best at anything? Did you win any of those?
I was
wittiest, funniest guy.
I was voted most likely to host a talk show.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
man, came pretty close. I mean, there's still time.
Yeah, I should go back and see what they voted everybody else. They got close with me.
Yeah, they didn't. I guarantee you that. What was the high school mascot where you went?
Marion Wildcats.
Okay, Mr. Wildcat. I guarantee you, he's thinning up top.
Oh yeah,
gray.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Look at you.
Yeah. No, I want to go to the class reunion just to show off the hair.
You've got it's like you've got like an azalea on your head. That shrubbery. It's gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, me and Robert Burrill, my buddy Bobby. If you ever met him yet, he's got he actually was a hair model for a while.
Is that true?
I used to joke that he was the cover model of Widow's Peak Monthly because he's got that kind of Dracula point at the front of his head. But it's not receding. That's the amazing thing about Bobby's hair. I've known him for 15 years.
Yeah.
It stayed exactly like that the whole time.
If you want to see some great hair and laugh, go see Brian Miller at the Acme Comedy Company. That's tonight 2 shows, tomorrow 2 shows. Wednesday, we're going to be out there along with Brian Miller, and we're going to be judging fairly and lovingly the funniest person in Twin Cities contest. Thanks for coming by, man.
Hey, great. Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys on a Wednesday.
Beautiful. An absolute pleasure.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday, September the 1st. The big holiday weekend is upon us. Upon us. Upon us? It is upon us. And I, for one, I'm quite excited. Heading up to the North Shore for the first time, ladies and gentlemen. I will be feasting my eyes on Lake Superior. I am very excited to be out on the woods, looking at the water, hearing the lap, lap, lap of the water. It's still going to be hot up there. Not as hot as it's going to be down here. It's going to be broiling in the Twin Cities this weekend.
Yeah, broil.
You get over there close to that lake, even on a hot day, you get a breeze off that lake right up your skirt. It'll be nice. It'll be cool. Betty's Pies, that's my recommendation. Get up to Betty's Pies.
For the record, it's a kilt. It's not a skirt. It's a kilt that I will be sporting. I've decided to go to the North Shore to learn over the course of one weekend how to play the bagpipes, finally. Can you imagine? Someone's up there in a cabin in the woods, and then someone's learning the bagpipes of the night. You don't mind me. It's fine. I'm just trying to figure out how to get in touch with my roots.
They might think it's a wounded moose or something called the DNR.
Yeah,
you got a moose in distress out here.
That's it. If my bagpipes sounded like a moose, I'd be ahead of the curve, I think, for early bagpiping. This just in. Here's a weird thing. Speaking of getting out in the woods for the weekend, a body was discovered in the Swiss Alps last year. It was identified as a British mountaineer who went missing in 1971. 52 years he disappeared on a glacier in the Swiss Alps. And because of the rising temperatures in the Alps, it finally melted down enough, and they found this guy. He'd been missing for 51 years. His family had assumed that he had fallen and died while hiking in the Alps. It was then confirmed. He was on a glacier called the Chesjenglacier. He was on the Chesjenglacier glacier all these years later, determined to be the man. And it always freaks me out because this is, by the way, this was one of two bodies they found there last year. The other was a German who'd been there since 1996. When you see them like Mount Everest every year, they keep finding people from decades ago.
Yeah, they just step over them.
You could not remove them. You don't have the energy to pull them down yourself. And then with as temperatures go up and glaciers melt, they're finding more and more bodies. It's just a crazy thing to imagine.
How far back it might go. Some of those glaciers, we're talking about hundreds of thousands. Some of them, when you get way up there, maybe millions of years old. Who knows what they might find in there? Some cavemen, woolly mammoths, reanimate them, bring them back to life.
Oh, my God.
Why not?
Saying, it's going to, we're starting here at the beginning. Might not be in our generation, maybe a couple of generations down the road. By the time it's all a big swamp up there, God knows what they're going to be finding.
Pyramids, alien ships.
Maybe.
All of the above. Wild times on the Chesjenglacier, whatever it's called.
Right.
But, that which does remind me, there is a German word, and I think about this when I think of people hiking in the Alps. This is a real word. It's Wildpinkler. Waldpinkler. And it is someone who likes to relieve themselves outside.
Oh,
someone who avoids the toilet.
Yeah,
he's the little Wildpinkler.
No, I don't avoid the toilet. It's not like I got to go. I got to, dash outside. But if I'm outside and there's opportunity, I'm going to take that before I'm going to, track one down inside somewhere.
Here's another German word for you. I'm not making this up. The word is Backpfeifengesicht. Backpfeifengesicht it's a face that begs to be slapped.
Oh, my God.
I believe I have that also. Wow.
It's pretty fantastic.
2 for 3 here.
We all know Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude, the feeling of pleasure derived by seeing another's misfortune. Right. That's just one of the great words. Wanderlust is actually German, the strong desire to travel. But here's another good one that I never heard before. There's a word that describes when your parents are away and you have the whole house to yourself. That's a sturmfrei. Sturmfrei. Not stovetop, not stir fry, but sturm fry. Sturm fry.
I'm gonna have a rowdy sturm fry going this weekend.
How about this? Pantoffelhead. He's a pantoffelhead. That's a man who may act tough in front of his friends, but cannot stand up for himself against his own wife. He's the pantoffelhead.
All you had to say was man, married man.
Yeah,
that covers it.
Remember the Key and Peele sketch around the word bitch? Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where he's like, man, I told my wife, I said, you better back up. And then he turns around like, bitch. And that just turns into how far they have to go away to act tough around their wives. That's pretty good stuff.
I love that.
We need more words to describe things like this in the English language. I mean, we can just adopt all these German words, but let's not kid ourselves. They're hard to pronounce and hard to spell.
Right.
We just got to come up with some of our own.
Yeah, I don't know. That's your weekend homework. Come on up with some.
Okay, okay, last one. Ready? Someone who doesn't like to speak after waking up in the morning. What is that person called in German? True story. A Morgenmuffel.
Morgenmuffel.
Like that.
What's your do you need some coffee, my little Morgenmuffel?
Why did VW drop Fahrvergnügen?
That's right, Fahrvergnügen.
Fahrvergnügen.
What was that? What was that supposed to be? Something to do with cars or laissez-faire economics? I'm not sure.
Some pleasure of driving, some sort.
That makes sense. That kind of checks
It was
out.
a side dish.
Yeah. I'm going to be Fahrvergnügening myself up to the North Shore today. I can't wait.
Make sure you get yourself some smoked fish.
Smoked fish. Is there a particular brand? A brand? Is there a variety of fish you think is
they're
preferable?
everywhere. I prefer salmon. Smoked salmon's really good.
Okay.
Trout.
Just any kind of fish they're smoking up there.
They have all sorts of fun stuff up there.
You should stop at Toby's in Hinckley on your way up there for a giant caramel roll.
That's a good one.
You get gas there, you go pee-pee, you get a big caramel roll.
Wait, what's it called?
Toby's.
All right, fair enough.
Hinckley.
My favorite place in the North Shore is Rustic Inn. They have really good food and pies. And
well, if you're going for your smoked fish,
right.
And I might add the shrimp to that, then you want to, stop at Lou's.
Yeah, Lou's.
Lou's up there. Where is that at?
Right,
I don't know. You'll know it when you see it.
Can I come?
No, you can't come. You know why? Because you're going to be at the Cub Wine and Spirits in Stillwater from 4 to 6.
Forgot.
Yeah,
Just kidding, I didn't.
Candace is hanging with our friends from Line and Kugel at the Cub Wine and Spirits from 4 to 6 p.m. today, toasting the dog days of summer. And Candace earlier said, you should stop by on the way to Duluth. It's on the way. And for a minute, I was like, oh, yeah. No, it's not. Hang on. I've been to Stillwater. You are not. It is not on the way.
You could see me and dogs, and you can get all your stuff, and you can head up north. Yeah, stop at Cub Wine and Spirits in Stillwater. Load up for the big weekend.
See, I like that. I can see you right now, and I'm going to see my dog in a minute. So, no, sorry. That's not going to happen.
Oh, by the way, Lou's here. I just looked it up. That's where you're staying. I'm not going to tell everybody where you're staying, but yeah, it's right there.
Right there nearby?
Just up the road. Yeah, nearby.
Dos Harberos area, two harbors. Look, I got a whole new realm of the world I've never been to awaiting me, and I'm downright thrilled. Thrilled.
The North Shore and the State Fair and about a 10-day swing here. Man, that's hitting for the fences. That's hardcore Minnesota right there.
It's good living. Let's look back. How about a history lesson?
So what's up? We've got to bring in Gorman.
What happened to Gorman? He's right here.
Yeah, he's right here.
Hey, Steve.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Oh, hey, what's up? It is September the 1st, and on this day in 2007, my lifelong beloved University of Michigan Wolverines football team, I say that kind of, tongue-in-cheek. My family I'm from a Michigan family. I had older brothers. I cheered for Michigan my whole life. I didn't go to school there. I've barely spent any time in the state. For whatever reason, I every year I say, I don't care about Michigan, but then I hear that fight song, and then I get excited. And anyway, on this day in 2007, yes, they lost at home to Appalachian State. Not Arizona State, not Alabama, not any number of teams you may have heard of. Appalachian State from Boone, North Carolina, the greatest upset in college football history. Whew, baby. That's when I just stopped pretending that Michigan was still relevant in the game of football. They are now again, but boy, that was a long time in the wilderness.
I bet they built their own building on campus at Appalachian State to that victory. They probably have an entire building dedicated to that win.
And you know how the huge games, how that works when you're a small school like App State and you go play in Ann Arbor, you get paid huge money just to go up there and get killed.
Yep.
So App State was paid millions of dollars to actually beat Michigan on that day. That's just a phenomenal moment in college football history.
Well, okay, hotshot.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.